Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Morning, sir. Welcome to the curling club. It is the medal games draw of the 2022 Canadian Masters Curling Championships. Our sponsor of the draw, very much appreciate the sponsorship of Princess Auto. And folks, inside the curves can't necessarily hear your applause, but they'll be able to see it. Please welcome on sheet 2 from Nova Scotia, from the Windsor, Berwick, and Moose Jack Curling Clubs, Kim Darby, Andrea Solkay, Jill Alto Holland, and Jocelyn Nix, Nova Scotia. And from the Leaside and Thornhill Clubs in Toronto, from the Team Ontario, Lee Sandra Payne, Wilma Morrison, Judy McLeod, and Jan Carwardine, Team Ontario. Over on sheet 5, the bronze medal men's game, Team British Columbia from Duncan, Comox Valley, and the Swinehall Curling Clubs, Victor Gamble, Tony Henslow, Ron Schmidt, and Skip West Craig, Team British Columbia. And Team Manitoba, officially from the Brandon and Olympic Curling Clubs, but a nod to Delaware and Navarra as well. Lee Reg Warren is sitting out this morning, replaced by Gary Barker, Terry Warren, Brian Barker, and Skip Murray Warren, Team Manitoba. On sheet 3, Team Northern Ontario from the Idlewild Club in Sudbury, the Fort William Curling Club, and the Community First Curling Center in Sault Ste. Marie, coached by Arnold Ashen, Bruce Monroe, Frank Morris, and Eric Harden, and Skip Al Hacker from Northern Ontario. And their opponents in the gold medal game, Team Saskatchewan from the Highlands Club in Regina, Gord Fritzler, my apologies, Gord, Rod Slatnick, Laurel Elric, and Gord Bell, Secretary from Saskatchewan. And on sheet 4, the gold medal women's team, Team British Columbia from the Park Hill and Penticton Curling Clubs, Janet Suter, Shirley Hall, Cindy Curtin, and Skip Penny Shantz, Team British Columbia. And their opponents from the East St. Paul Curling Club, Team Manitoba, alternate Debbie Paulson, Leslie Brown, Donna Smiley, Wendy Nicolak, and Skip Judy Caldwell, Team Manitoba. Fans, volunteers, players who are not playing, these folks will be out here, but those of you who want to are welcome to come out on sheet 1 or sheet 6. These tables will be moved over for the medal presentation ceremonies which take place immediately after the game. And with that, curlers, good luck, good curling.
Hello everyone, and this is the women's final of the Canadian Masters Curling Championships at Pembina Curling Club in Winnipeg. We've got a great women's final coming up for you today. British Columbia throwing the yellow stones and Manitoba throwing the red stones. Now to quickly go through some of the other sheets on the ice today. Beside us on sheet C, we've got the men's final, Team Northern Ontario versus Team Saskatchewan. And on the men's bronze medal match is the men's Teams British Columbia versus Manitoba. And on the women's bronze medal match, it's Nova Scotia versus Ontario. So in our feature game, due to the overall record going into the final, British Columbia got to start with the hammer. So we're seeing a center guard called by Manitoba to start off. And I'm going to give you the lineup for Team British Columbia. From the Parksville and Penticton Curling Clubs, skip Penny Shantz, third Cindy Curtin, second Shirley Wong, and lead Janet Suter. Janet throwing the nose hit on her first stone. And Team Manitoba out of the East St. Paul Curling Club. Skip Judy Colwell, third Wendy Nicoluk, second Donna Smiley, and lead Leslie Brown. So during this stream, it's just going to be myself, Daniel Burchard here. I'm going to have my colleague Gordon McKay giving us some updates throughout the game. But my co-host Neil Okamura, he's left for Edmonton this morning, so it's going to be mainly me today. Big day in Winnipeg. We've got the finals of the Canadian Masters Curling Championships, and then everyone's going to be cheering on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the Grey Cup later today. Big weight by Janet Suter, trying to hit and roll to the side. And that's going to spin off. Manitoba going to play with a hit. He's going to hit and roll, just rolling out to the side. So we'll probably be doing a few more updates from the other games. Unfortunately, we've just got the one camera set up for this final draw, so we're going to be watching the women's final, but we'll be trying to give as much information as we can for the men's final and both bronze medal matches. In the men's final game, Northern Ontario was starting with hammer in the first end due to the best record in the round robin. In the bronze medal women's match, Team Nova Scotia starting with the hammer in the first end, and the bronze medal men's match, Manitoba starting with the hammer. So we see BC here playing to the wings, just going to get a biter. So Donna Smiley going to try and come around that yellow stone. Sweeper's just waiting. Need that to curl a little bit more to try and get buried. And I'll slide to behind the tee line. Sweeping to try and get it to curl. I was speaking to some of the curlers last night at the banquet, and they mentioned usually in the first end they've seen it was a little bit straighter, and the curl came on second end and later. We have been seeing quite a bit of movement on the inside out, but that one from Shirley Wong staying a little bit straight. going to have another attempt at trying to make this draw. I'm hoping to get a little bit more buried so that there's no hit available. And they're going to sweep this a little bit deeper, but it's going to get more under cover of that Yellowstone. About a third exposed from the hack. Try and play the, this is Cindy Curtin throwing. Trying to play the freeze down to that redstone. Good scrub, but just rubbing off that yellow and spinning open. So Manitoba's going to have the opportunity to play to that Yellowstone. I'm going to call a little bit of a hit, potentially roll behind that yellow. So the sweepers are on this early. They're trying to hold it. It's really moving. They're going to catch that yellow and pick it out. That red's possibly holding on at the back as a biter, but the Yellowstone is now counting it at the top. So BC's going to try and come around that Yellowstone. They've got the backing of the redstone if absolutely needed. They may not try and go all the way that far in the back house. Oh, that's coming up a little bit. Not sure if they were calling the corner guard there, but it does guard technical shot stone here, but that gives Manitoba an opportunity to get a draw around now two staggered yellow guards. So Skip Judy Colwell going to play this in turn, taking a little bit more ice now on the other side of the center line for this draw. We should see the movement happen fairly late based on what we've seen the other draws this week. And the sweepers are on this. Gonna make sure there's enough weight to get to the house. And that's just gonna come up to the corner of that yellow guard. So Penny Shantz is going to try and get around that combination of guards on the corner. Get a second shot stone in there. Big scrub, they want to hold the line. Weight's looking pretty nice here. Oh, Cindy Curtin helping the sweep. Trying to get it into the top of the house. And we'll get a corner buried behind that redstone. So with Manitoba's last rock here, they got to make a decision on what they want to do. They can play the draw around as indicated. Important that they get at least partially buried. I'm just going to have my update man here, Gordon McKay, going to give an update on Sheet E.
Hello everyone. Sheet E, we have BC men and Manitoba men playing. Just after the first end was a rather clean end. Manitoba chose to blank the end and just starting the second.
Perfect. He's like a veteran. He's like a veteran.
So a big sweep early. They got to try and get around that Yellowstone. This is over curling. And just a lot of movement on that final shot. So this is opening the door for British Columbia for a draw for 3. Giving herself lots of ice for this shot. We haven't seen any throws this far on this side, this end. So a fresh path. Looks like Penny gave it a little bit extra weight here. Just waiting for it to stop. And that'll come to a stop in the back of the 8-foot. So a 3-point score in the first end for Team BC. So big end here for Manitoba. They're going to want to get at least 2 to come back against that 3-ender in the first by Team British Columbia. An update on the bronze medal match for the women's game. Team Nova Scotia making a nice draw on the last stone to take 1 in the first end. And then on the men's final, Northern Ontario taking 2 in the first end against Team Saskatchewan. So British Columbia is going to try and put this one in the house here. Just light cleaning by the sweepers. It's going to slide just into the forefoot. Oh, and a piece of the button. Judy Colwell calling for the hit off the beginning. I think thinking that stone just is too good to leave alone. A nice hit and stick by Leslie Brown. So Team BC trying to play the hit, trying to get it to curl. And they're going to hit and roll out. So that's going to give Team Manitoba the chance to start the end over the way they want to, the corner guard. A nice corner guard thrown up by Team Manitoba. BC is going to try and play the come around here. So BC, they're just lightly cleaning, trying to get into the top of the house behind that red corner guard. They don't want to take it too deep. So leaving it about 3/4 open. And Judy Colwell is going to call for the hit and roll.
So service the apartment plus DoorDash.
So that one really moved. There's a pick. They're cleaning the ice. Unfortunate break for Manitoba. So Penny Shantz deciding it's far enough in the end, they can start peeling. So going to play the outturn peel here. Sweepers are on it. They want to hold it. They've got to avoid the jam. He's going to get enough of the stone to take their own out and roll that red stone right to the edge of the house, but still biting. So now that gives Manitoba a good opportunity to come around the remaining yellow corner guard. It's about in line with the edge of the 8-foot and split the house. So a big error by Team British Columbia on that peel attempt, not getting that redstone completely out of the house. Just waiting for the weight to come down a little bit here. And that one's going to slide out the back. So British Columbia is going to play this hit on the outside red. This is very tricky, getting close to that the edge of the boards here. Playing the inside out. Be very difficult to judge line in this area and for the sweepers to stay on it. And they're sweeping to get it to curl now. Just need to move it an inch to get it out of play. And they do and roll out. So that'll give Manitoba another chance at the draw. A little bit better weight on this one. Trying to get it to move so it can be buried. And a big sweep now, trying to get it to curl around that corner guard. It's going to come in. Red is about 3/4 exposed from the hack.
Just to provide you some updates on the other sheets here. On sheet 2, women Nova Scotia, Ontario game. Pretty wide open here in the second end. On sheet C, men's game, Northern Ontario, Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan looking to come around a center guard, the lane 2 behind cover. Here, skip rocks. And on sheet E, another Manitoba Bonds game between BC and Manitoba. BC is now putting some pressure on Manitoba with a draw coming around the center guard to lay 3. Great shot there. BC now lays 3. Now moving into the skip rocks.
Thanks, Gord. So we see a nice hit and roll by Team British Columbia, and now Manitoba is going to try and return with a hit and roll back.
Yes.
Just waiting for this to curl a little bit more, and it's not going to move much off that center line.
It's getting loud here. I don't think it's picking. Well, it's picking some of it up. Yeah, maybe. We can. Yeah. Howard, but keep it down. You're broadcasting across the web. I don't mind the bar comments. It's the other useless chatter. Bar comments are okay.
So Penny Shantz coming out here with a out-turn hit. And they're just going to play the nose here. So Manitoba really going to try and get the hit and roll to still get a 2 here.
And just an update on sheet E between Manitoba and BC and bronze spot. Skip Rory Warren just threw Rod a little bit warm, and BC now sits 4 with 2 rocks to come. On sheet C, the Manitoba, or sorry, the Northern Ontario Saskatchewan men's final. Al Hacker and Hack with his first and two, attempting a takeout through the port. Saskatchewan city top four. Throw rubs square and Gord Bell of Saskatchewan now looking to come into top 8 and put some pressure on the team of Northern Ontario.
So in our own game, we saw Manitoba hit and just roll slightly. So still open and available for Team British Columbia to play at that one. I think Penny Shantz is happy with how this end has gone. Fairly open, no opportunities for Manitoba to get two here. So just trying to hit, and if they get the roll around the corner guard to get a fourth, I'm sure they'd love it.
Sheet 80. Murray Warren is throwing his last rock, drawing against 4. And he has come up short. And BC will steal, what I see, 2 points. And on sheet C, in the gold final, Gord Bell made a superb come around in the center guard. Now sits 2 top 4. Al Hackner's last to come.
In our game, we've got Team Manitoba here calling for the hits. Trying to blank this end if they can. They want to go after their 2 or 3 points next end. So a little bit tricky to call the peel on the inside out here. They got to make sure they don't miss the big curl that can happen late. And a big sweep from the Manitoba front end. And this is gonna over curl and roll, but not enough to get out of play. So it'll just be a single point for Team Manitoba. And we're back. So we've got Team British Columbia with the hammer leading 3-1 going into the third end. Update on sheet B. There was a blank by Team Ontario in the second end. And on the men's final, we got Team Saskatchewan throwing a draw for a couple. So it'll be 2 Saskatchewan points in the second end to tie it up 2-2 after 2 ends. So British Columbia coming into the wings on their first rock here. And Manitoba's going to respond with a center guard. Suitor gonna play the intern come around.
Yeah, just to bring you up to speed here on everything at Pembina Curling Club, we have a packed house here today, folks. It's a whole lot of people out here to watch these Masters finals. It's been a super week.
So British Columbia just sliding behind the tee line, just giving Manitoba an opportunity to come down for a freeze. And the sweeper's just waiting on this one, a little bit wider line. They're going to try and sweep it to possibly redirect off that top Yellowstone. And they do, and are going to roll in the line with that Yellowstone. Second shot. There's a red center guard just off the center line. So there we can see it there. So Penny Shant's asking for board weight to get that red stone removed. That's about half of it exposed from the hack. So big scrub to hold it by the guard, and they're going to have to keep on it. It's a good sweep. Able to remove that red stone. And they're going to spin to the back of the house and just out of the house in the back corner. Donna Smiley's gonna try and go back, get a little bit closer to that Yellowstone and the back forefoot. And a really nice shot. Donna Smiley to freeze on that Yellowstone, sit on the button shot rock. Next time I do it, I'll turn them on and just let the rest of them see it. So a big scrub by Team BC. They wanted a nose hit here. But they're going to hit and roll off. Unlock those frozen stones. So good opportunity here for Manitoba. They're looking to steal this end, so they're going to put one top house and protect that red stone.
And just a quick update for you on Sheet B between the Nova Scotia and Ontario women. Nova Scotia currently sits 2 in the house as we move into third rocks. On Sheet E, BC Manitoba men. Manitoba now sitting 1 in behind BC cover, and BC trying to follow to freeze on the Manitoba stone.
Right, and a nice shot by Team Manitoba. Coming in to get buried behind the center guard, but still leaving that button rock exposed. Red sitting first and third shot. Big scrub here by Team BC, trying to get it past the guards, and they do, able to remove that stone. Roll to the back of the 8-foot to sit 2 grouped. So Manitoba's going to call the double here and try and sit 2.
We've been trying to get rid of the whiskey boys. Did too good a job.
So Wendy Nicoluk playing the out-turn double here, trying to get to nose of that yellow stone. This one's going to have to curl a little bit. And a great shot. Wendy Nicoluk to make the double and sit 2 red stones.
Just a quick update on Sheet C with Northern Ontario and Saskatchewan men. Not a whole lot in play. There's a Saskatchewan center guard sitting pretty close to the house. And on Sheet E, between BC and Manitoba men, it looks like Manitoba may be laying 2 behind cover. BC just throwing to attempt to come into the mix and create something for future shots.
So a nice hit and roll by Team BC. And Manitoba's going to try and hit and roll behind cover here. Big sweep here. hold this line. It's looking like gonna be a little bit of a roll, but not much. So British Columbia is gonna another chance at this hit here.
Okay, we're on looking at sheet C with the Northern Ontario Saskatchewan men, and Saskatchewan's attempting to draw around the center guard they had, got wrecked on it, and Eric Harden in Northern Ontario is just throwing a straight takeout with the potential of a hit and roll in behind the center guard and put some pressure on Saskatchewan.
So BC's going to try and play the hit here. They're still looking to get to this end, but Red's sitting first and second stone right now. This one's going to roll. And it's going to roll a little too far, probably edge to edge on the red stone above it. So Manitoba's going to have a tricky little intern shot to come down to that yellow stone and tap it out. Taking a little bit more ice, they're going to play a bit more down weight on this one.
And just an update on sheet E between BC and Manitoba men. It's a very busy house, many rocks in play. BC, Wes Craig just getting the hack to throw his last rock. Murray Warren with hammer, and it looks to be that BC will be playing a short run back on the Manitoba stone.
So Manitoba sweeping this right away. They got to hold the line if they want to get by their own red stone. It's looking pretty good if they keep the brooms down. And a great shot by Judy Colwell. A little bit of a roll inside. Now only 3/4 exposed on that side, so putting a lot of pressure on Team British Columbia, facing 2 on their final stone. On
sheet E, Craig appears to have missed the run back, and Manitoba looking at maybe a big score here with Murray's Manitoba's last rock to come. On sheet C, Northern Ontario and Saskatchewan men, gold final. Al Hackner just throwing a draw into the house to the open area to lay 2 with 2 rocks to come.
And an update from the women's bronze medal match. Team Ontario having an open draw to the 8-foot for 1 in the third end to tie it 1-1. So it looks like British Columbia is going to be coming down with some soft weight, just like Manitoba did. It's a little bit harder to get to nose of that red stone, so it's important that they get it out and stick around in the 8-foot somewhere. This is a pretty tricky shot.
So on sheet E, Team BC and Manitoba men, bronze final. Murray Warren just drew into the house. Taking a look at the rocks, but it might be a score of 3 or even 4. I'm just waiting for the update.
And we just saw on our own sheet, Penny Shantz a little bit wide on that hit, rolling out. So it's going to be a steal of 1 for Manitoba. Update on men's final. Al Hackner coming down the ice to throw open hit on the center line to try and get 2. So Manitoba really happy with that steal, and they're going to come in with the center guard here.
Update on sheet B between Nova Scotia and Ontario women in the bronze final. Ontario took 1 in the third end, and we now score tied at 1-1. On sheet E, we're still waiting for a measure of the 2 rocks, yellow and red, to see what the score will be after 3 ends of play in the BC Manitoba men's game. On sheet C, Al Hackner in Northern Ontario had an open hit for 2, and now go up 4-2 in that game.
So we see British Columbia coming a little bit short on another center guard here. So Manitoba is going to use that to their advantage and use those 2 guards to come around. Manitoba would like to try and get another steal if they could. The sweepers are on this, trying to hold the line. Just waiting for this to finish now. And a nice shot coming to the top of the button. Very great draw. Wesley Brown's had some really nice draw weight so far this game. So BC's gonna play the peel on their own stone. Janet Suter's rock coming short on the first one. Penny Shantz doesn't like that. It's going to take that off. Want to try and open up for British Columbia. They're going to try and avoid setting up a good end for a steal for Manitoba. They want to get their 2 here. And a nice throw to peel their own.
An update on sheet E between BC and Manitoba men. After the measure, it was determined that Manitoba only scored 2. So after 3 ends of play, we have a tie game at 2-2, playing the 4th end.
So Manitoba coming in a little bit heavier weight here, so they're going to try and take it buried behind their own rocks. And that's going to end up on the center line, back 12 foot, but buried behind the center guard. BC just going to peel that remaining guard.
Just an update as we look across the sheets. On sheet B, Nova Scotia and Ontario women are really choosing to play a very conservative game here to this point. There hasn't been a lot of rocks in play, and currently with Ontario sitting one of the house top four, Nova Scotia now playing hit on that one. On sheet C, Saskatchewan and Northern Ontario men go final. Saskatchewan looking at 2 Northern Ontario counters, but looking to try and attempt to draw around a corner guard to try and get some future point scoring happen.
So we just saw British Columbia attempting a double and overcurling a little bit and hitting and rolling to the side of the house. Now I just want to mention, last night there was a banquet for all the teams at the Holiday Inn and Suites on Pembina Highway. And it was a celebration of the week and the wonderful competition that it's been for all the teams, everyone making new friends, the wonderful host committee that's put on this amazing championship. And I want to congratulate specifically the winners of the Sportsmanship Awards for the week. On the women's side, skip Catherine Derrick from Team Quebec, and on the men's side, we had Clarence Jack out of Yukon. So a big congratulations to those two. Unfortunately, neither of those teams are in the final playoff round, but a big congratulations to them. So we see here Manitoba coming in with a center guard trying to guard their shot on the button. It's going to stop just short of the house. Good shot.
On sheet E, between the British Columbia Manitoba men bronze final, British Columbia just made a nice little come around and now laid 2 counters on kind of a corner guard set up in the house. Murray Warren and Team Manitoba looking to come around the rocks that have kind of created a little bit of a nice little barrier in the top 12. Manitoba's going to try and come around to that into the 4-foot.
So British Columbia trying to play the run back here, but not curling enough, and just going to peel it off, which is okay with them. They want to keep that open so that they have an opportunity at that button stone later in the end. We've really seen Manitoba putting the pressure on the last couple ends to put the pressure on British Columbia to make some nice shots. After that three-point score in the first end by Team BC, Manitoba is going to be really working hard. They don't want to give up anything at this point. Calling for another center guard. Replaces that center guard. A little bit higher on this one, so we might see BC try to come around.
On on sheet C, Northern Ontario and Saskatchewan men. Saskatchewan pulled a rock behind the corner guard. Northern Ontario, intending to remove it, flashed. So now Saskatchewan now looking at a position of a hit and roll to lay 2 in the house.
So BC is going to try and play that come around on the guard. Playing big weight. He's playing to hit and roll out. And they're going to pick it cleanly. So that leaves British Columbia sitting 1 on the side of the house. We'll see what Manitoba does, if they try and play at it or going to come around their own guard. And they're going to make the play. Manitoba is okay with a force of 1, so they don't need to take the risk of playing the draw right now, considering the score.
On sheet C, update here, the Northern Ontario men are now playing a shot on the rock behind the corner guard, attempting to tap it out. Just getting a piece of it. Saskatchewan had hit and rolled out in the previous shot. Northern Ontario has just touched it, and the Battle of Saskatchewan now playing for a second rock behind the corner guard, lane 1.
So we just see Team Manitoba just getting a piece of that Yellowstone, enough to push it out, but rolling out. So opportunity now for British Columbia to sink one behind that center guard. Manitoba was really looking to stick around even if they didn't make the roll in that last shot. So British Columbia's got to be careful here, got to make sure in their top of the house, in front of the tee line, to not leave Manitoba an out on their final rock.
Sheet E in the BC Manitoba men's bronze final, Brian Barker made a nice double takeout to now sit a nice comfortable 3 Manitoba stones in the top 12, 1 and 8, the shot rock. BC coming to look at trying to do something with the Manitoba rocks in the top 12.
I'd also like to give an update for the women's bronze medal match. We just saw Saulnier play the peel on the final rock to blank in the 4th end. The score remains 1-1 after 4. Nova Scotia with the hammer. So we're seeing a nice shot here. Just sweepers walking this one in for Penny Chance and get full 8-foot buried. So Manitoba's got to decide if they're going to try to come around here. They want to get shot rock in the 4-foot. You see a lot of action with the curl, so it's probably possible to get buried in the back 4-foot. It's important for Manitoba. They want to try and get at least more than half buried here to make a shot for 2 very difficult for Team BC. Sweepers are on it. They got to hold the line. They got to make sure they're around that Yellowstone in the top 8-foot. We're really seeing this move. Looks like it's going to rub off that yellow. So now BC sitting 1 still. And they'll decide if they want to just play an open draw or a hit. So BC just looking at the hit. If they nose, they'll still be second shot.
On sheet C, Al Hackner in Northern Ontario just getting into skip rocks now. Team Ontario now trying to draw it down to the Saskatchewan stone that's back 8. Hackner stone is wide open, so Saskatchewan will have a hit and roll to maybe lay 2 behind cover.
So Penny Shantz coming out with the intern hit here. Sweepers are on it, trying to get at least nose. This one's looking nice if they can hold the line. And a little roll in, and that's good enough to get 2 for Team BC, so they take the lead 5-2 in the women's final.
Yeah, just an update on sheet E with the BC Manitoba Bronze final. Murray Warren made a really nice tap back with Manitoba now laying 2 behind cover. West Craig and Team BC are now looking at some means of trying to get out of this trouble, potentially with some sort of a run or maybe an tap with their Yellowstone top 12.
So we see BC calling their first rock in the house, putting it right on the button. Update quickly for you in sheet C on the men's final. Just saw Saskatchewan jamming on that hit and roll attempt. Now Ontario or Northern Ontario here sitting one in the back 8 foot and one on the side of the 8 foot. So they got a draw for 3 to put real pressure on Saskatchewan. Too thin. So this guard just sliding into the house a little bit. Now BC's going to play the hit and roll. Sweepers are on this early. They want to hold it to keep on the center line side. Janet Suter yelling hard to the sweepers to get that one. That one really moved. So there's going to be a jam, and now Manitoba sitting shot rock on the 8 foot on the side. And Judy Caldwell is going to call a center guard now. I think with the hammer she'd be calling a corner guard on her own stone, but the center is going to help as well.
Yeah, just a quick update on sheet E, the BC Manitoba men. West Craig was attempting a draw around Manitoba guard in the top 12 and threw it back 12, almost through the house. So Manitoba now with their last shot to put some pressure on Team BC with their last.
And a nice center guard by Team Manitoba. So British Columbia is going to play the open hit. They're fine with nosing it. They don't want to roll too far to the center, otherwise that'll leave them behind the tee line.
Sheet C, we have Saskatchewan now drawing against 3 Northern Ontario counters and coming up short. So not sure if it's 1 or 2. It appears maybe just 1 Northern Ontario counter. A steal by Northern Ontario to increase that lead there.
Nice hit and roll by Team BC. So Manitoba indicating for the hit and roll as well. A big scrub to try and hold this one. I'm gonna hit and roll. Gonna roll might be behind the Yellowstone. Big roll by Donna Smiley. That's tricky. There's a center guard that's right on the center line, so there's a little bit of a port. About 3/4 of that redstone's exposed.
And just an update here on sheet E between BC and Manitoba men. Wes Craig and BC with their final shot, looking at 3 Manitoba counters. Maury Warren attempted the come around his rock in the top 12. It came up about 2 feet heavy and just gave a little bit of a cushion for Craig to come down to with his final shot. And it's on its way. A clean brush. And we're not sure if that got there or not. Taking a good look at it. And it appears that Manitoba has just stolen one against BC in the 4th.
Okay, and we saw BC make a nice hit and roll on that semi-buried redstone. So now Donna Smiley is going to come down to that back yellow counter and tap that out. That Yellowstone's about half covered by the center guard. This one's really got to finish to try and get to nose. And that's just going to roll into the open.
Just to bring you an update on sheet B with respect to the Nova Scotia and Ontario women bronze final. There are some rocks in play. It looks like we see that Ontario is now putting some pressure on the Nova Scotia team with a couple in the house and behind cover, and Nova Scotia playing a run back or basically a peel of guards in the front to get themselves in better shape going further into the end.
So we saw a nice nose hit by British Columbia. Now Wendy Nicoluk's going to be called for the hit and roll. A lot of hits through this port now. They should know the ice really well. It's a little bit tight out of the hand, so the sweepers are on it. Trying to hold it past that red guard. And they do. And enough to get that Yellowstone. Good scrub by the sweepers to hold that one. Unfortunately not enough to stick around, but able to remove that one out of the 4-foot. And that gives an opportunity for Cindy Curtin to play a draw around that center guard.
For those of you viewing this game here between Manitoba and BC, please be sure to tune into our Pembina Curling Club website and look for the Masters page, as we have all the live updates coming for you as we get them. So just gives you a little bit more insight as to the other games that are happening as the ends roll on here.
So throwing the glove out of the way, the sweeper's there just to get that one by. That's a good scrub. Fully buried behind that center guard. Manitoba going to call the double here. Judy Caldwell lining up for the intern. This one's looking really nice. It's got to curl a little bit more. Great shot by Wendy Whitnicolak. What a double. Getting Team Manitoba out of trouble. So that really opens up this end. We may see a blank now. We'll see what Penny Shantz is going to do. Manitoba still would like to get one buried around that center guard to still get their two if possible. BC calling the hit here. Nothing from the sweepers yet, just cleaning. And that'll be a nose hit. Manitoba's going to try to follow that back with a hit of their own. The roll is really important for Team Manitoba here. I think at this point you really want to get your two if possible, down 3. Big scrub here, trying to get it to move. Be a nose hit by Manitoba. BC's going to follow that down with another hit. They're going to try and get a little bit of a roll inside to take away the blank opportunity for Manitoba. But I'm sure BC's also fine with both options.
Just an update on sheet B between Nova Scotia and Ontario women, the bronze final. Nova Scotia absolutely made a pistol freeze to an Ontario Stone in back 4 to now lay 1. Nope. Ontario now in the hack to attempt to freeze to the Nova Scotia Stone. Nova Scotia with hammer.
So we see sweepers on this, trying to get it to curl. And that's going to roll behind cover. Oh, and exposed a little on the other side now. So that Yellowstone about edge to edge. Manitoba's going to have that rock to available for a peel and a blank if they decide.
Update on Sheet E between BC and Manitoba men in the bronze final. Manitoba currently sits 3, but BC does have a good opportunity here to draw around a corner guard on the right side and put some pressure on Manitoba to try and score their deuce.
So big shot here for Judy Colwell, trying to get the blank here to take the hammer into the even ends. Seeing a lot of movement here. It's going to be an over curling, getting to the inside and just sticking around for one. So this is going to be 1 point for Manitoba. Now trails British Columbia 5-3 after 5 ends. So Manitoba is really going to be trying to put the pressure on for some steals here. We saw really good play by Manitoba in the third and fourth ends to try and set up steals. So we'll see if they continue to do that here. So a nice center guard by Manitoba here. Now BC going to play it out to the wings. Do a quick update for the women's bronze medal match. We saw Ontario coming a little bit late on their freeze attempt, leaving Nova Scotia a draw opportunity for 2, which they made. Now takes the lead 3-1 going into 6. A nice draw to the wings by Janet Suter. Manitoba's going to call another guard here. The sweepers are on this. It looks like they might be trying to come around. That's going to split off the guards. We'll leave 2 semi-center guards there. Both will be usable for Manitoba, but right now BC is going to try and use those.
I'll just quickly bring it over to Sheet E with the Manitoba BC men bronze final. Murray Warren played an open hit and roll out. BC counter. BC lays one with behind cover, and now just drawing to the open side to look at scoring a 2 in the 5th end.
So just sliding behind the tee line there, a mistake for British Columbia. So now Manitoba's going to try and capitalize. Donna Smiley with the out-turn draw here. This one looks a little bit hot as well. Sweepers haven't touched it yet. Trying to get it to curl around to that yellow, but it's going to go past it, the back 8 foot. Yellow still sitting 1.
Sheet C, Northern Ontario and Saskatchewan men. Al Hackner in Northern Ontario just played a nice run back double, and now set a couple with set 3 now with Gord Bell and Saskatchewan playing a draw against the 3 counters to take their single.
BC trying to follow down, trying to get above the tee line here. Line looks really good. And that's stopping really nice in top 4. What a great draw. Shirley Wong. So Manitoba's going to play the straight run back. If they're able to stick it, it'll be real nice. Sweepers are on it early. They got to hold this. This is looking real close. It's going to over curl and they'll roll to a corner guard, opening up those 2 Yellowstones on the center line.
On sheet C, Bell and Saskatchewan come up short on the draw, and that appears to be going to be 2 Northern Ontario counters. Steal a 2 for Northern Ontario in the 5th end. We're moving over to the sheet E, BC and Manitoba bronze final. Murray Warren just flashed on trying to take out the BC counter and behind corner as Craig had come up short with his first shot for the draw for sit lane 2. It appears we're now looking at a draw for 2, potentially a split for 3. The rock is over curled. And BC has taken 2 in the 5th end. Correction on that, it appears that maybe 3 for BC. We'll wait for the score to be officially posted.
And also an update on sheet C. That draw attempt by Saskatchewan, it was for sure 2 for Northern Ontario, but they're measuring potentially it might be 3. So we're going to see Manitoba here try and get back in. There's a center guard now in line with that top 4-foot stone thrown by British Columbia. So Manitoba looking to play just some soft weight through a intern port here. And a quick update there. It was just 2 stones scored for British Columbia in the 5th end of the men's bronze match. So in that game, BC leads 4-3 against Manitoba. Big scrub here by Manitoba, trying to get it by that center guard through that port. It's a good sweep. It's a good shot to move that off the 4-foot. It's going to spin to the 12-foot, but can't do much better than that coming through that port. So now yellow only sitting 1 in the back 4. Let's see how narrow that port is on that angle.
And sheet 3 update. After the measure, it was determined that Northern Ontario scored 2 to take a commanding lead in that game, 7-2 after 5 ends.
Sweepers aren't really touching this one. They're waiting for it to finish. Might be a little bit hot. They want to try and keep it above the tee line. And that's going to slide to behind the button. Give some backing for Manitoba to come down to. So Wendy Nicolak with her last draw here, our last stone of this end. She's going to try and throw a freeze to get something buried, set up skip stones.
The ones that are left, I think there's
A big scrub to try and get it in. They'll sweep it into the 4-foot. Just shy of first shot, but still in a really good position for Manitoba. Above the tee line. In a good position for a force right now, or if they're able to move that up a little bit. Even a steal. So BC's got to decide what they want to do. So Cindy Curtin coming down to discuss with Penny Shantz what they want to do for this end. Sitting 1, that red shot is second shot stone is in a dangerous position. So discussing whether they can come through the port and move it out of the way, or if they want to freeze on top. A lot of discussion about this shot. BC knows it's important. They don't want to give up a steal this end, and would like to get 2. So it looks like it's going to be, the decision's going to be made to be coming either top house and guarding a little raise or tap back that Manitoba could make on that recently thrown redstone. May even be a guard that they're calling. Sweepers are on this. A little bit tight out of the hand for Cindy Curtin. They got to get it by that center guard. They're just going to let this finish and end up as a guard. So that just came corner frozen. You can change the angle to see there. Yeah, 2 guards now staggered, not usable for a run back. And Manitoba's going to see if they're able to curl around those, and they just need to move their redstone up an inch or 2 to get shot rock. With how much curl there is, definitely possible. They just got to be careful where they're leaving their shooter.
Just to bring you to an update on Sheet B between Nova Scotia and the Ontario Women's Bronze Medal Final. Ontario's Carwadine is now sitting the hack, drawing to sit 2 Ontario counters in the house.
I like where the red one is more than where the yellow one.
The score tied 3-1 for Nova Scotia, and Ontario having hammer here in the 6th end.
The red one can be promoted. The yellow one's, that's as good as it's ever going to be.
So Judy's calling a wide out turn with just about T-line back 4 weight, just to move that red stone a few inches. Change the angle a little bit too. This has really got to finish here. Really waiting on the curl. They're going to try and get a redirection off the red guard, but it's going to be a little bit too strong of weight, and it's going to spin to the back 8 foot on the opposite side of the house. So that little red tap is still available if not taken away by British Columbia. So a big discussion here. That last shot there, over curling on their guard attempt, leaving that shot still available. It looks like they might try and do the same thing, come in top 12, take away that red raise, a red little tap back there. So a lot of discussion here with the team. Once you got down to the hack, might be a change of shot here. Quick update for you on Sheet B, Nova Scotia, Ontario. Andrea Saulnier throwing the double takeout on her last stone. It's going to over curl and just get the 1 stone and roll out, which is going to leave Jen Carwadine with a draw for 2. So BC changing the shot here. They're going to call a guard to guard the port and also the intern tap back on that red stone just outside the house. Figure the out turn might be covered enough right now, and Manitoba's best option might be coming off on the intern side. So trying to get close to that center line. This one's really curling. Probably leave this a little bit high. It's over curling. Maybe try and get a spin off their Yellowstone. So the port is probably not there anymore, but still has an intern raise if needed. Got a few options available for Manitoba here. They've got a in-off on the Yellowstone on the 12-foot on the left side of your screen right now. They've got the same tap that they attempted on the first stone. And they also have the intern tap of the guard, so quite a few options for Manitoba here. So it looks like they're going to go back with the out-turn tap again. Just needs to throw a little less weight from Judy Colwell on this shot, and should be able to finish a little bit more. Sweepers aren't touching it yet. Just waiting for that movement. Starting to move now, so the sweepers are going to go. They got to have the weight to get there. Line's looking really nice. It's really starting to finish. They just need to move it an inch or two. Great shot. Great shot by Judy Colwell to tap that up. Froze into that stone on the back 4 foot. Manitoba sitting 1. Now BC, after over curling on their last shot, they don't have an in turn through the port anymore, so they've got to decide what they want to do here. Might play the in off of their own stone. It's a low risk shot to play the in off their own stone, so if they have enough weight, they can roll into the button and potentially get one back. And an update for you on sheet B. Ontario did make their draw for 2 in the 6th end, and now it's tied 3-3 against Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia with the hammer playing 7.
Just an update for you on sheet E. BC and Manitoba men bronze final. Terry Warren of Manitoba. Murray Warren of Manitoba just made a very, very nice come around at the center guard to sit 2, 1 top 4, 1 edge of 4. With BC West Craig's last rock to come.
That's all they got.
BC now looking in the for options of how they can score in this end.
So playing the in off here, and it's not going to hit it thick enough, so it just rolls to the back 4. To a steal of 1 for Manitoba. So that brings us to 5-4 going into the 7th end.
We're back here. We get sheet E, BC Manitoba men. West Craig looking to try and draw in against the 2 Manitoba counters. He rubs, he's heavy. And Manitoba has a draw for 3 here in 6. We have a final rock draw here by Saskatchewan on Saskatchewan Bell, and they're playing a open hit on the Northern Ontario stone for the single point. Northern Ontario currently lays 2. And successful there with their score 1 here in the 6th end to put the score at 7-3 for Northern Ontario playing 7.
So we saw starting off the end, Manitoba throwing the center guard, trying to get another steal this end if possible, and BC coming up a little bit short, rubbing on that guard. So now 2 guards for Manitoba to use. They're going to play tight around that guard, top 12 foot.
And an update on sheet E. Murray Warren made a nice shot. Draw to the 4, just for a count of 3. Putting the score at 6-4 for Manitoba after 6. 2 ends to play.
So Manitoba just over curling a little bit here on this come around, but going to leave another guard in play, which is totally fine for Manitoba at this stage. They want those center guards if they're going to try and steal again. So it looks like Penny Shantz is going to try and peel her own yellow guard out by raising the red into the yellow. Unable to remove the red stones because of the 5 rock rule right now, so has to be careful. Oh, this one's over curling. And he's just going to tick the red over. So now 3 guards spread out, covering the house. And Judy Colwell is going to call draw to the top 4 foot buried. So Donna Smiley got the intern getting out pretty wide to get around that center guard. Sweepers are on it. This intern side we've really seen move. And just able to get by that guard. Great sweep by Manitoba to get that to the top 8 foot. Now BC able to comfortably peel. The 5 rock rule is over. Shirley Wong coming with the out turn here. Might get some action in the back. Moving that red stone out of the way and spilling it off to the open. Leaving the shooter as a guard though. But now 2 yellow stones close to the center. So trying to replicate her previous shot. Donna Smiley's going to play that intern again. It's got a little bit more weight on this one. It's hanging out there. So sweepers were trying to get a rub off their own redstone, but it's over curled, so they're just going to wait. And that'll slide to the back 8 foot. Buried. So BC abandoning the peels and are going to try and use those yellow center guards now to try and get behind. Sweepers have to hold it to keep the line. We'll see some late movement close to the hog line. And just over curling, going to rub off their own guard. So we've got a wall of guards out front now. There you can see all those guards. Difficult to get in with the draw, with how wide you have to come. With the only action on the ice, I'm not sure if it's possible to get around. They may have to play a tap. Or they might be looking at that port there on the intern side now.
An update for you here on Sheet B between Nova Scotia and Ontario women. Ontario now going into the hack with Skip Rocks just to begin. Pretty much an open house. There's only one corner guard, tight corner guard of Nova Scotia's that Ontario is attempting to go around to see if they can get themselves set up for a 2 here in the 7th end.
So a little bit of discussion on what they want to do, and they're going to try and promote their red stone on the edge of the 12-foot, tap it closer to the center line. So Manitoba coming out nice here. It's got to make sure the line's okay. Got to hold it. We're going to see some late movement. Getting out real wide. This is where the fresh pebble is. They haven't played out into the edge of the 12-foot yet with lines. So we're going to see this lose a lot of the weight. And it'll just end up as a straight draw. But look at that action curl. It's become overburied on the yellow guard.
Now just bringing a quick update here on sheet E between BC and Manitoba men. Manitoba now playing just an open hit to lay 4 Manitoba counters here at 7. BC missed putting a corner guard at the beginning of the end, and it just really hasn't paid off for them here as we move through the 7th.
So big weight here from Cindy Curtin. Trying to play a run back, but over curling. It's going to spin open to leave a center line port available. Now Manitoba sitting 3 behind cover. They got to decide what they want to do. There's a lot of yellow stones that can be promoted. That port is definitely available. Both turns, in turn and out turn. They're going to try and get it and plug it off top of the house. This is real tricky to make sure if you want to plug the port, you got to be careful with the weight. It's going to be moving quite a bit by the time it gets to that center line. So big sweep here by Manitoba, trying to get it to curl, trying to get that center line and block that port. And an update for you on sheet B. It's been a fairly open end. Ontario sitting 1 on the edge of the 12-foot, and Andrea Saulnier is going to play the blank attempt. Nice blank by Andrea Saulnier to keep the game tied 3-3 after 7 ends. Nova Scotia maintaining the hammer going into the 8th end. So BC going to try and raise their stone or come through the port. It's getting real messy up front. They're going to rub off their guard and tap it close to the house, but opens up an in-turn port now. So Manitoba is going to try and block that off. BC doesn't have very many options into the house right now, so they're going to decide if they want to play a guard or put a little bit more pressure and come into the 4-foot, but I think indications for a tight guard.
quick update here on Sheet C between Northern Ontario and Saskatchewan men in the gold final. Northern Ontario just choosing to now just play out the last two ends as clean as possible. Not trying to put any counters in play, but there are rocks in play with respect to Saskatchewan potentially looking at stealing Bell with Saskatchewan now with his first rock of two, attempting a in-turn draw around a corner guard to try and set up some potential mistake by Northern Ontario.
So Judy Colwell gonna play the tight in-turn guard. She's okay with just biting the house. Trying to get it real close to block off the port. The sweepers are on it. This one's curling pretty early. And that's going to be a little bit light. I'm just going to play a high guard now. Just over curling slightly. There's still a port available, but definitely blocking off most of that. Making that in-turn port a lot tougher. Penny Shantz knows what she wants to do. She's going to try and follow through that port to try and get to the forefoot. This is a big draw for Penny Shantz.
Yes, you can. Not that I ever stopped you before.
I've had a few meals right here.
It's a good eating table.
Coming out with that in-turn. Nothing from the sweepers yet. We gotta wait for it to finish past that yellow guard. And when they're able to get it to move right through the port. Now, how's the weight? Is it gonna stop in time? No, and it's gonna slide too far. Leaving that red shot still shot rock in the back of the 8-foot for Manitoba. So now we'll see Manitoba probably come back in that port themselves. They may try and get second shot or block it off. Duty calling for just the top 12 here, but I think if the line is good, they would sweep to get second shot. Some discussion with the front end here at the hack, if the weight's good to take it into the 8-foot.
And just to bring you an update on Sheet B between Nova Scotia and Ontario women in the bronze final. Ontario now sitting with two center guards on top of each other with the potential for the steal in 8. Nova Scotia attempting to try and clear off the front and keep it open to provide themselves with an opportunity for the easy single.
So we're seeing Judy coming up a little bit short of the house, but blocking off that in-turn port. So now we're looking at the house. This is going to be very difficult for BC to come in. Looking at potentially the wide out turn. Would have to probably take ice on the boards to get around there with how much movement there is. Potentially is angle raise a possibility on the yellow guard on the left side of the screen there, but you're angle raising through a port, so it could be very tricky. Yeah. No, the out turn.
Keep the hammer. Keep the hammer to the shot.
So they're going to call the out turn here. So we're seeing Penny Shantz just give an edge of 12. I'm not sure if this is enough ice for the draw. You need to get a bit better than full 8 foot and almost a piece of the 4 foot on this draw here. He's lining up. This will be the first really wide shot on this outturn side of pretty much the whole game. So we'll see a little bit of fresh pebble out here. Line looks good. They just got to be able to finish it. Just got to make sure that the weight is there to T-line. Sweepers are on it, trying to drag it. This is going to be really close. And a good sweep, so that's going to be really close. I think they made it. I think that's one yellow, but they'll probably, yeah, they're going to call for a measure.
Stay with you.
So really nice shot by Team BC to make that draw. So now they're going to measure. If I'm a betting man, I think I'm going to go with that Yellowstone. But really got out there wide. It was definitely tricky to get the weight right. Great throw. Great end by both teams.
For you, Northern Ontario men and Saskatchewan gold final. Saskatchewan stole in the 7th, stole 1. That score now is 7-4, playing 8 with Northern Ontario having the hammer. On sheet B in Nova Scotia Ontario women's bronze final. Ontario is sitting 2 with 1 being buried behind a center guard, top 4. And Nova Scotia is still attempting to keep the front end clean with respect to coming to their last round.
So we've got the measure coming here. Indication that it's yellow. So it'll be 1 yellow for British Columbia, and they'll take the lead 6-4 going into the 8th end. All right, we've got some 8th end action here at the Canadian Masters Curling Championships. I'm Daniel Burchard, and I'm calling the game for British Columbia versus Manitoba, the women's final. All right, so now British Columbia going to try and force Manitoba, prevent them from getting their 2 here. So we're going to see them play top 4 on their first shot. So Janet Suter a little bit strong with the weight here. Sweepers off. Looks like Penny Shantz is going to try and take that to the far in the back house, so it's not going to be too dangerous. Colwell calling for the corner guard. Nice guard by Manitoba.
Just bringing up update on sheet B, Nova Scotia and Ontario women bronze final. Nova Scotia with a superb hit roll behind the center guard to lay one. It's now putting a little bit of pressure on Ontario to try and chase that rock and get themselves into a scoring position.
So BC coming a little bit short of the house on their second draw attempt. Now Manitoba's going to call to come around their corner guard. This one's going to be over curling a little bit, so I'm going to leave a second guard there. And takes away their option to use those corner guards with that yellow stone in the center line. And just for everyone watching, we'll, depending on which game finishes first, we'll be giving you live updates on all the games on this stream, but make sure that everyone can stay tuned, and we'll keep you updated on all games. So BC just over curling a little bit there on Shirley Wong's draw attempt. Now two staggered yellow guards, but Manitoba's got to do something about them. They're in the way. So we call Donna Smiley for the double peel. Nice shot. A double peel and roll off to the corner. Now with 3 red stones in front of the house. Manitoba's going to try and use those in future shots to set up their 2, possibly 3. And Penny Shantz is going to call the draw around one corner guard here, trying to take away and beat Manitoba to it. To update for you on Sheet B, the women's bronze medal match, Nova Scotia and Ontario. Skip Andrea Saulnier, or fourth stone thrower, I apologize. Andrea Saulnier is playing the outturn freeze. There's currently one opposing stone in the back 8 foot. And this is the first skips rock from Andrea. So nice draw by BC, but still available for Manitoba to play the hit. Just about edge to edge. Got to play this in-turn hit. Could be a little bit tricky right by that center line. Great sweep to hold that rock, and sitting second shot. Top of the house. And Manitoba's going to need to get a little bit into the 8-foot if they're going to want to get 2 here. BC's just going to play the nose hit. An update again on sheet B. Saulnier a little bit heavy, rubbing off on the freeze attempt. And then we got, but still sitting 1 yellow stone at the back of the 8-foot. So now it's up to Jan Carwadine on her last rock. She's going to try and freeze that just thrown yellow stone. Ontario needs this to stay in the game. They got to make this freeze. We're seeing on our sheet here, Cindy Curtin hitting and rolling off to the side, opening up that port. So Wendy Nicolak's going to try and play this in-turn around the corner guard. We need to get into the 8-foot here.
Just an amazing shot on sheet E between Manitoba and British Columbia men in the bronze final. Brian Barker with a superb double kill of 2 BC stones that were pretty much frozen to Manitoba stones. Manitoba now lays 2 split house in the 4-foot. BC now looking for some opportunity here to try and freeze to look at trying to get their 3 to tie this game.
So now we're seeing British Columbia. They've got about half of the red stone exposed. They're going to try and play a hit and roll here. And update for you, just coming to Skip's Rocks, or final shot, on the bronze medal match between Nova Scotia and Ontario women. Ontario slid a little bit deep, but still enough to be shot rock. So we've got some backing for Andrea Saulnier's final stone. Needs to come down to full 4-foot to score 1. And we see BC hitting and rolling out. Manitoba's going to have another attempt at that draw. We haven't seen them finish enough. Need to throw a little bit more weight to get in the 8-foot. They want to get shot rock here with only 3 stones left for Manitoba to throw.
Update on sheet B, the final stone coming down for Nova Scotia. They need Button for the win. Everybody out to make this go, and this rock is coming up short. It will be an Ontario steal for the victory. Oh, hang on a sec here. They might be putting. Nope. Handshakes are on this. Ontario has won the bronze medal in the 2022 Canadian Masters Curling Championships here in Winnipeg.
Big congratulations to Team Ontario women. In our game, we saw Manitoba curling a little bit more buried now, but still only second shot, but not much exposed. You can see from this angle here, only about a quarter of that redstone is available from the hack. So very tricky if BC wants to play down to it. Manitoba has that back 8-foot Yellowstone open for a hit for later in the end.
an update for you on Sheet C, Northern Ontario and Saskatchewan final. Al Hackner, Northern Ontario, just took off a guard to expose the Saskatchewan stone. Val Saskatchewan looking for a tap back on their rock in the top 4-8 onto the Northern Ontario rock in the back 8 to attempt to lay 3 here. Northern Ontario with the last rock. On sheet E, BC Manitoba bronze final. Wes Craig just getting the hack for his first of 2. Manitoba sits 3 in the 4-foot. BC has 1 back 12, so they need to figure some way of removing those 3 Manitoba stones with a chance of scoring 3 here in 8.
We can see in our game here, Team BC over curling on the hit attempt, peeling off the guard. Manitoba's got to decide if they want to play back to that yellow stone. There's some discussion from the full team here. We're going to get you updates live for all these final shots for the men's games as well. So Saskatchewan's last rock coming down, going to raise, able to remove that remaining Northern Ontario stone to sit 3. But Al Hackner is just going to have a open hit to claim the win. So it looks like Manitoba's decided to play the hit on that Yellowstone in the back to sit 2. This is Judy's first rock. BC only has 1 more rock remaining after this.
And on sheet E, Manitoba men have won the bronze medal against BC here in Winnipeg in the 2022 Masters Curling Championships at Pembina Curling Club.
Oh, and unfortunately seeing a big miss by the Manitoba women, racking on the guard and raising it into the house. Now that gives, looks like BC is sitting first and possibly 3rd shot right now, so could be Manitoba. This is their only shot. They're hoping for a jam here.
And the update of the gold medal match between Northern Ontario and Saskatchewan men. Al Hackner and Northern Ontario are our 2022 Men's Masters Canadian Championship champions.
Big congratulations to Team Northern Ontario for the big win. We've got BC coming in here with their final rock. And a big scrub trying to get nose on this red stone. And they're going to roll over. Now, did they roll enough to leave a triple? That's the only shot that Manitoba has right now. They just need to move that Yellowstone on the edge just slightly to get to sit 2. But to try and catch the back, there potentially is a shot available. It's going to be real tricky here. They need to get all 3 to get their 2. So Judy Colwell going down for the last rock of the Women's Canadian Masters Curling Championships final. So this is a big shot. Big weight. Sweepers are on it. And this is going to over curl. So we have British Columbia, the gold medal champions of the Women's Canadian Masters Curling Championships of 2022. So big congratulations to the gold medalists, British Columbia. That's skip Penny Shantz, third Cindy Curtin, second Shirley Wong, and lead Janet Suter. And also, I'd like to give a big congratulations to Team Northern Ontario for the men's for winning the gold medal. Skip Al Hackner, third Eric Harnden, second Frank Morissette, lead Bruce Monroe, and coach Arnold Asham. A big thank you to everyone at the Pembina Curling Club, the host committee for putting on a great event. The ice has been fantastic all week. Thank you to the sponsors. We are going to be having closing ceremonies on a separate stream coming up in a few minutes. Thank you so much for the viewers. And if you want to tune into the closing ceremonies, that'll be starting up very shortly on a second